From earbuds to portables, from automotive and marine to home audio setups. From movie theaters we visit to concerts we attend, JBL products can consistently be the source for audio we love to consume with the ears God gave us. Alright, well, welcome everybody. Today we're looking at the installation of 6x9 speakers in the front of 2013 through 2019 Ford Explorers. Now, if you're one of my regular JBL Life subscribers, this video is going to be a little bit different, but if you're here just for the installation of speakers in the Explorer, welcome. We're going to be installing JBL 962 CF component speakers, replacing the factory Sony system, which is the highest audio system you can get in the Explorer. It's a 500 watt Sony system. So after a quick installation rundown, we'll do a sound test comparing the JBLs to the Sonys and how much better they are. So first, to take the door cut off, you want to first pry that little piece of plastic behind the door handle off with the pry tool, and then pry this window and mirror control panel off. It may help to get two of these pry tools under each corner and then lift it off. And then on the underside is going to be a clip you'll need to remove. Just get your thumb on that and squeeze it and it'll come off. And then there's a few screws, 10mm, one right behind the door handle, one underneath the armrest you'll see when you get the control panel off, and then two of these 9/32 screws that are at the very bottom. You have to get kind of underneath the door to see them. And then let's pry this thing off. It helps to have a pry tool. Those clips are on there pretty good. So put some muscle on pulling that card off. Then once you get it loose, there's a couple things you have to disconnect. One's the door handle actuator. I like to use needle nose pliers to get in and squeeze the tabs on that cable, and you can pull it out, and then you can fish the end of the cable out of the actuator. And then disconnect the tweeter cable and you can pull the card away. There's another shot of the back of the tweeter. And then here's the Sony woofer, and there's a few screws holding it on. I believe they're 9/32 as well. You can see there's a couple on the bottom there too. And then to get the tweeter out, there's a couple little tabs. Try to zoom in here, you can see those little tabs. You just need to pry those away and the tweeter will pull out of its little housing there. And while we look at a couple of pictures at the back of the door card, what I found is in the Sony system, they are sending low frequencies to the woofer and higher frequencies to the tweeter, so you don't really need a crossover. You can just put your new speakers right in these spots. Or if you want to use a crossover, you'll need to find a way to combine these signals or use your own DSP yourself. Next, let's take off the stock Sony woofer and look at what's behind it. There is a little plate behind it that sticks out that you have to look at, but I'll show you some measurements on it here in a sec. But there ended up being a decent amount of room, even for the big JBLs. So there you see it's about 1.25 inches off the speaker plate, and then sticks out about almost 2 inches. But again, I was able to put the JBLs in there no problem. You see the stock Sony, how much clearance it has with that bracket, and then you can see the stock Sony, the magnet has plenty of clearance with the other side of the door and the bar there. So I think you have plenty of room to mount new speakers. Here's a measurement from the bar to where the speaker mounts, and then a measurement from the back of the door to where the speaker mounts. And then here's a measurements from the stock speaker for you if you want to see how it fit and how it might fit with your new speakers. But really, I think most 6x9s will fit in that space. Shouldn't be too hard. These are the rings that I got to put them on. So they're about 1 inch thick. I got them off Amazon. They work great, and they came with factory connectors, so that was nice. So here they are installed again. It turned out pretty nice, and yeah, they definitely deliver some nice, good bass. And then we already looked at the tweeter location, but you'll just have to figure out how to mount your own tweeter in that location, maybe with some foam, or in the past I've gotten a plastic strip and like super glued it in there, kind of with a strip over the back of the tweeter. These JBLs had a case that they fit in there exactly and clamped to it, so that worked out well. Okay, let's see how these JBLs sound next to these Sonys, which are the premium sound system you can get in these Ford Explorers. Here we go. Okay, so there you hear how the premium Sony speakers sound from the Explorer line and how a good pair of speakers sound against them, and those JBL Stadiums are really good. I highly recommend them. You notice how they were much louder, and that was the same volume, so that's what the JBLs with their 3 ohm resistance, they get you more output from the same type of speakers. A lot more clarity with the JBLs, just a lot more upper mid-range, and the tweeter, just especially on some of those, like the drums, you could just really hear the nuances of the drum and the cymbals and everything. I even let my wife A/B test these, and she was like, yeah, now the Sonys sound much more dull. They sound like they have a piece of cloth over them. So she even noticed quite the difference in them. All right, well, there's the install video on how to do it, and I recommend the JBL Stadiums if you're able to, and feel free to check out my review of these JBL Stadium 962s that I did. If you're interested in those, I'd highly recommend them. So please leave any questions or comments you have, and subscribe to this channel so we can keep it going. So I leave you with what I think is very important in life. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and soul and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. JBL Life out.